Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Power Selling Podcast. I'm your host, Danna Crawford, the Power Selling Mom. And today we're joined by Todd, the Curator of Thrift. So without further ado, meet Todd. Okay, let's get started.
Hello, my name is Todd. Yeah, well, I used to be an auto enthusiast life, and then I was, before that, I was Speed Trap 73 on eBay, but because my specifics have changed, I put the Curator of Thrift, so it just made
Okay.
more sense because I sell everything.
Yeah, and I like the name Curator of Thrift. I think it's a good name.
Thank you.
You're
I,
welcome. So how long have you been thrifting?
I have been thrifting pretty much my entire life, running around with my dad to yard sales and swap meets. And when I got my own job in my early to mid teens, I wanted my money to go farther. So that's where I bought my clothes mostly, was at thrift stores. So that's how
Oh,
it all
so
started.
in your teenage years, you were thrifting for clothing. That's pretty good.
So
That's
it was
great.
it was fun back in the, what was that, mid 80s?
Yeah,
Great stuff in the mid 80s.
that's right. That's right. Do you have any of it now that you resold?
I think I was a long time ago. So yeah, none of the stuff I had then, I don't think I even have.
You wish.
There's a lot of stuff that I wish I still had.
Yeah, I can relate. So tell me, what got you started on eBay?
I back in, let me see, midnight in about 95 I started collecting Hot Wheels,
Okay.
and I started collecting music when I was 12, 13 years old, so I collected music mainly. And then when I was started collecting Hot Wheels, I was always, because I worked all over the San Francisco Bay Area, so I would hit all the stores to buy Hot Wheels. I'd hit all the stores and thrift stores for buying records. And then one day I used to frequent a antique store in Pleasanton, California. She's no longer there, and I was always looking for Hot Wheels because, you can find all the old red lines in the antique store. So one day I used to just hang out and chat with her, just something fun to do. And one day she's like, "Have you ever thought about selling?" I was like, "Yes and no." She's like, "Have you heard of eBay?" I was like, "What's that?" Go look it up because I
Yeah.
had just started buying online through Yahoo auctions,
Oh,
buying stuff for my record collecting. So I'm like, okay, so I got onto eBay and I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. So I started buying my music collectibles on eBay. And then after a while, like I said, I traveled all over the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm like hitting these thrift stores. I'm like, I could sell this stuff and pay for my collection. Everything
that's
basically
right.
would be for free.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and for several years, that's all I did is I bought and sold music. It was because even then it was mostly CDs and records. I didn't do very many cassettes back then. But then I would also hit up different stores with a friend of mine. We'd hit stores so he collected too. And there were some stores we'd pick up all of the promotional items, whether it was posters or whatever, stickers, postcards, the mobiles they'd hang in the store. I mean, you name it. We'd pick it all up, and then we started selling that and getting ridiculous money. I remember selling, I don't know if you know the band Gorillaz.
I don't.
They're like what do they call it? I can't, we're several members of different bands. It's like get together. One of them was a guy from Blur, the main guy, and there were several other ones, a rapper. But anyway, they had this mobile. They had one hanging, and they had like one or two of them brand new. I sold one of those things for $100. We were selling promotional posters for 100, $150. 12 by 12 promo flats, 20, 30, 40, $50. I mean, so that's what we did. And and then I got away from it for a little while, and then I started getting back into it, and then it's like
You're
over.
hooked.
Yeah, I was hooked. It's like, so I just mainly did it for my collecting and as a hobby.
Okay.
So that's where that went for
Did
as
you
a
still work?
Oh
Did
yeah,
you?
yeah. I
Oh,
was still working all over the Bay Area. Then about let me see, I was working at Stanford for 4 years for a friend's company, and I decided I didn't want to do it anymore because I was spending too much money just driving over there. It was
oh.
costing me 25% of my bring home pay went just to gas. So I quit that job, and I was doing eBay at home, and then got a job with my sister-in-law painting. Then a friend of mine hired me to do eBay for his fishing tackle business. So, which I'm still doing, but part time. So I
Oh.
did it for him full time for 4 years. And then they moved their warehouse from Manteca to Sacramento to like a huge, like 25,000 square foot warehouse up there because they did wholesale too. Plus they had three brick and mortar stores. One of them was in Manteca. But once they moved it, I stayed at the warehouse and helped them sell off all of his shelving and anything I could that was big through Facebook Marketplace. And I was obviously still doing my eBay stuff here and there. And then he sold the warehouse and I had to move into the back of the store. So everything that I was selling of his, it's either in the back room of the store or in two 40-foot shipping containers outside.
Really?
So yeah, he told me he sold or threw away a lot. He probably threw away over $1 million worth of merchandise.
No.
So, because there was stuff that I was selling for him. I remember walking around with his business partner out in the back of the warehouse outside, and they had 5 or 6 pallets full of, I shouldn't say this because I'm still selling them, peg hooks, store peg hooks.
Peg hooks?
Yes, the peg hooks for pegboard that you put in
Oh,
the merchandise in the store.
yeah, yeah.
They got them in so many different sizes, and I'm like, he's like, oh, we're going to take and get rid of this stuff. And I'm like, no, you're not. And he looks at me like, I go, I will put it on eBay.
Yep.
You thought I was nuts. He's like, really? You can sell these? I said, yeah, watch. So I started putting them on in like lots of 100 to see what would happen. Because there was literally, like I said, 5 pallets of these, 6 pallets of these things.
Oh, wow.
And it went slow for a bit. And then I took and broke it down to where I had variant listings where I had 100, 75, 50, 25.
Oh,
And it just started selling. And I probably, in 6 years, sold over $50,000 in used peg hooks. And I'm still selling them. But they go everywhere, you know, because I put them in the the priority mail, the flat rates. So if somebody buys 25, I can put them in a padded envelope, you know, no problem. Gone, you know. Yeah. So, but I'm still doing that for him. And also because they moved, because I actually tried to get out of it, and he had hired an 18-year-old kid he knew to take over for me because I was just going to completely cut it off and just do my stuff. Well, unfortunately, he didn't work out and I got stuck doing it again. So I'm still doing it. I do his stuff Mondays and Fridays for shipping and listing, and then I do mine the rest of the time, including weekends. You know, go do my stuff early in the mornings because I got to do my shipping in the mornings and stuff. But it's been rough doing all of it.
that's a lot.
Yeah, because like I was there Monday. All I did was shipping, and because it was so hot, the back room of the store, it's not air conditioned. It's just sheet metal on the roof. It's basically just a storage room is what it is. I turned it into a eBay, room to do selling, computer and everything back there. It's 105 outside, so it's probably 130 in there. I'm like, I'm
Oh
done.
my
I just
gosh.
came home, and it wore me out. I was only there an hour and a half, and I'm like, I come home and I'm like wanting to take a nap because it was
Yeah.
great. But yeah, so I still do that for him. It's more part time, and because it's not hourly anymore. I only get 30% of the sales money, but I'm pushing it because he says if I get it up to 50 or 2,500 items, I get 50%.
Okay.
So I'm still working on that. Trying to,
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but variant listings, some reason people can't figure them out on eBay. So I'm breaking them down into single listings and the stuff sells.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, that's interesting. I know it can be challenging creating variant listings in the first place.
Yeah,
Once you get the hang of it, you're good, but it's confusing.
yeah, it is.
It's confusing.
It's work.
But wow, I didn't realize you were so involved like that. So, does both your business and his business use List Perfectly? Do you pull it all in?
I do mine only, and his I use another platform because that's what I was using before List Perfectly. But once I get out of the stuff that I'm breaking down and relisting, I'm getting rid of that other platform, and I'm trying to figure out how to pull it in to my List Perfectly to where I can run the 2 accounts on it because I prefer to do it that way. But because it's only one picture usually, I'm just taking a picture of either a pack of hooks or fishing lure,
Yeah.
and it's brand new in the package. I just take one picture, but
Yeah.
1 or 2. So I can list them directly to eBay a lot, pretty quick, but I prefer to, which I may keep his that way just so that it keeps my numbers separate because
Mm-hmm.
it's all through his eBay account. So I just try
Mm-hmm.
to just
Okay. Yeah, it is possible. So we can talk about that later, but it's definitely possible. Doable, as they say. What? But wow, you are a busy man. That's
yeah,
that's
it's been
that's a
busy.
lot.
So yeah, as far as eBay, that was back in I joined eBay in November of '99.
Okay, so then when did you become full time?
I actually started full time about 2 years ago. I spent
Okay.
most of those 22 years just doing part time, and I have so much stuff that I've collected over the years that I probably won't list it off for 10 years. It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, you can't take it with you,
Yeah, exactly. I
you
mean,
know?
one of the main things I do is like, like I said, I collected Hot Wheels. I sold off a lot of my Hot Wheels on it to get rid of them, clear them out. The one thing I regret not selling was my vinyl collection on there
Yep.
because I dumped that off years ago to a dealer for such a cheap amount that
Yep.
if I wanted to replace it, I would be looking at $50 to $100,000 just to buy everything again. And
Wow.
don't bother.
Wow. Well, even the Hot Wheels have dropped, along with most things, but I know I used to do Hot Wheels too, but a lot of money they went for back then.
Yeah, there's
Was
one guy which I could kind of transition to this into my brick and mortar deal. This one
yes.
guy used to actually frequent his store, same town in Pleasanton. He sold automotive collectibles in it was called Specialty Auto Sales. Inside their store, they had a little brick and mortar inside of it. I ended up going to him, and he was really knowledgeable with Hot Wheels, and he never paid more than $5 a car, and he was selling some of that stuff for thousands. He had one Hot Wheel that he shared on some forum board back when they had forum boards. The guy goes, send it to me so that I can authenticate it because I'm the only one that has this that I know of, and you're the only other person that's shared one. He
Wow.
had one of two well known that was not known, and it was because on the hood scoop of the car, instead of it being solid, it had holes in it, and it was made that way. And like I said, they were only two of them known in existence, and they didn't know that until he shared them.
Wow. Wow.
So, but I frequented him for several years, and I ended up buying him out because he moved out of the dealership because he was also selling cars, and they found out and kicked him out.
He was selling
He was
cars.
actually selling cars on the side because he
Oh,
actually
oh.
worked for the dealership at one point, and then he was also, he was doing his own consignment sales on the side. But
Got
anyway,
greedy.
for a few years, he had had a shop down the street, and I had still frequented him. Well, I ended up buying his inventory because he was moving closer to home. So I bought his inventory and I finished off his 6 month lease. And like I said, I sold automotive collectibles. I had everything. I had Hot Wheels diecast. There was Ertl. Oh man, I can't even think of all the brands. There was Art. But I sold apparel, decor. I had books and magazines, and just my books and magazines. Magazines alone, I had over 200 different titles. Books, I had probably somewhere between 300 and 500 books because I'd buy the stuff from the people and sell it.
Sure.
Then I had to move it because they wouldn't renew my lease and it was expensive. And there were other reasons behind that. It's a long story. So I moved it closer to home, and it just, because of the town I'm in, it, at the time, it just wasn't, nobody would support it. Even
Oh,
though I was on the main drag of town, nobody would come in because they thought they had to park on the main street when there
oh.
was 100 parking spaces behind the store. And then I ended up moving out of that space because the people who owned the building were remodeling the apartments upstairs and damaged $2,500 from a water leak worth of my inventory. So I moved
Oh,
out of that into another place. That didn't work, so I just shut it down. I think I had it for like 2 or 3 years. And then over time, that's when I really got back into eBay. I sold off all the old inventory, stuff like that. And then I was still working full time. And after a while, I just got tired of working for people, taking advantage of
yep.
it and not paying me. And I was like, I'm just
Yep. That's right.
full time.
That's
My
right.
wife didn't like it, but I'm because we're struggling. But I wanted to go full time because I have so much stuff, and that's why I'm hustling. And like I said, I
That's
went from 12, 1,300 listings to 3,000, and sales are still slow, but that's because of summer slowdown, and I'm just
right.
getting myself ready for fourth quarter.
Right. Well,
So
are you doing promoted listings?
I'm still working on that. I just started doing it with my CDs, but it's still dead because I'm just starting it out, and I'm starting it at 2%, which at the end of the month I'm going to kick it up. I
Yeah.
think what I'm going to do is kick it up 0.5% every month until it gets to the right point, whether it's,
Okay.
5%. I'm just playing it, figuring it
I
out, and
get
then
it.
adding more like my Hawaiian shirts and other shirts. I'm throwing more and more of that on right now. So I'm waiting for that to build up enough to where I can promote those listings. Like right now, I'm working on my own magazine collection, selling it off. So I'll probably promote all of that. I'm selling print ads, getting down, the more I'm adding, then I will start getting more and more into, because I know it helps, because everybody
Yeah.
said it helps. And I just been afraid to do it because I haven't quite figured it out yet. And like
Okay.
4 years and I'm still figuring it out. I mean,
Yeah, well, as
it's
I
still
say
a
every day is a day of learning. So don't, we're all still learning. Nobody knows it all. And
lot.
it's all trial and error. It
Exactly,
really is.
exactly. So yeah,
But
I'm pushing myself to get more and more of that to where I can get my sales up.
well, last summer was my first summer that I had excellent sales in all of my years on eBay. And it's because I did promoted listings all summer long.
Okay.
And I did high promotions, like 10%.
Oh, nice.
But I sold
Actually, it's not really that high.
I
I mean,
sold a lot.
a lot.
And this summer I didn't do it because I had too much going on and I didn't really care. I didn't want to deal with shipping. But it definitely worked last year. So, it's something to think about as
Okay.
you're deciding what to promote and what not. The older listings, I would promote high just
Okay.
to
I
get them
move.
moving. Yeah, increase the odds, as they say. Yeah. But gosh, it's so interesting. So you finally that's what got you going full time was wanting to be your own boss, really.
Got tired of being taken advantage of from, because I was in construction most of my life and people want you to do
That's
this and that.
tough.
It's like, pay me more money. But they wouldn't
That's
do
it.
it.
That's right. That's right. And it's hard when once you're your own boss, it's hard to go work for the man,
Yeah.
and it's you won't go back. It's that's what happens. But I know luckily I took a position with List Perfectly and it's nice having that company to work that I work with that complements my business.
Right.
So it all
Yeah.
works out.
Company that gets it, pretty much. Yeah.
Exactly.
They've been
Exactly.
there, they've done that, they get it.
That's right. That's right. If I have shipping to do in the morning, it's fine, so it works out well. But yeah, if you can find that happy medium. So since you're using List Perfectly, I'm assuming that you're selling on other sites. So what got you motivated to try outside the eBay box?
After eBay opened last year, I think you were actually in one of their breakout rooms.
I was.
Yeah, and because I listened to a lot of what was being said and going on, and then I think it was early October, I was watching one of the YouTube videos live. I won a free month, and I never left.
There you go.
So it's been a big help. I mean, it's been a big help with me doing more so that I
Yeah,
can, it's helped me keep myself motivated and just to bring it up. The 24-hour room is probably one of the best things I've ever been able to use other
yeah,
than the Express Lister. Hanging out with others in the 24-hour listing party, it has just been a big help because I'm by myself all day
right.
long. And I used to listen to music all day long, and now I got people to talk to, and we
No,
help each other out with everything. And then new people come in, hey, I need this, and we try and help them out. And it's been, for me, it's been a big help because it can be pretty depressing being by yourself all day long.
it can.
And, it was a struggle. Because of that motivation of other people, that's why I went from 12, 1,300 listings to 3,000. And it's helped me a lot with
Good.
just that in itself.
Good.
So,
That's
but
interesting. So listing party, for those that don't know, their listing party has a 24-hour party going on, so to speak, but it's mainly to, you know, be together with like-minded people and check in. I know I've checked in before, and the first time I checked in, I was like, I'm going to do some listing and I'm going to listen to YouTube. And then, like you, I was like, wait a minute, why don't I go log into Listing Party? Why am I listening? Why am I watching YouTube? And so I went in, but it was late. And there was somebody with their pillow like this. They were. I was like, "Hello."
that's just it. You never know who's there. I mean, there's been times where I've sat in there for an hour. Well, it clocks out at 40 minutes or something like that, but nobody's there. So, like, I got to start it back over.
Log back in, but you may as
Yeah.
well, like you
Yeah.
say.
And eventually somebody comes in. And
That's
while that's
right.
happening, I might still be listening to music and I just have the sound, my mic off and my
Yeah,
screen off, but at least I'm waiting for somebody to come in. And then when that happens, then hey, I got somebody to
right.
talk to.
That's right. But I gotta say, I think it's the greatest thing that I wish it was around years ago when I started
I
because
hear you.
it's so helpful. It's so helpful because you are alone in your little world. I'd always call it my little world. Nobody can relate in the household at what you're doing.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
one of the other reasons why, I mean, I needed to branch out as far as
Okay.
posting. So that was my
Yeah.
big. I was using the other one, Ink Frog. I will mention it, but
Yeah, that's okay. I used to write
it
for
was
Ink
great.
Frog.
But I only listed it on eBay. It didn't do me any good for Amazon because I'm not on Amazon. And those were pretty
Yeah.
much. I think now they do. Oh, I can't think of the Shopify, but I never got into that yet either.
Yeah,
But
no, me either.
my thing is okay. I'm only doing eBay other than Discogs. Discogs is for music, so
Yeah.
in those two, I wasn't doing anything else. I had tried Etsy years ago and gave up on it because I wasn't listing on it all the time or
Okay.
enough to really get. So I dropped it. But once I got onto List Perfectly, the first three I started cross posting to was Etsy, Poshmark, and Mercari. Mercari's still, to me, I've only sold 10 items in almost a year, and five of those one buyer.
Wow.
So yeah, so
That's
Mercari,
crazy.
I keep listening to it, but
Yeah.
it's just not.
Wow.
Eventually, something's going to crack. That's why I just keep throwing, because
Yeah,
mainly
I had a sale
I'm
there
on,
last night. I had a
yeah.
sale last night on Macari. So, yeah,
So,
they're slow.
yeah, Poshmark and Etsy have been really good. I've sold, let's see, I sold over 40 items on Etsy and I think 35, 40 items on Poshmark.
That's great.
So that's how, but here's the thing. I mainly put all my really old eBay listings on there, and I'm
Okay.
getting more money for it, and it's moving.
Isn't that crazy?
So I'm like, okay, and I don't some depending on what it is, I don't mark it up, but $2, $3 to $5, something's
Yeah.
$10, and I'm like because I've been on eBay and been in eBay groups for so long, and I understand how there's so many people that once eBay makes a change, they hate eBay and leave, refuse to go back on eBay. So I'm like, okay, they're not on eBay. They don't really pay attention to what I have it listed for
Right.
over here. So I'm going to mark it up over here. And sure enough, it started working.
Isn't that funny? I think though that some people are just sold on platforms. They won't go anywhere else.
Yeah,
So there's that shopper that's on Etsy that won't go to eBay. They
right,
just won't for one
right.
reason or another. So
Yeah,
that's why it's beneficial to be on all
right.
platforms, in my
Well,
opinion.
like, with Etsy, because I have so much, I have a lot of vintage stuff hanging around. That's the one thing I know I need to list on there. Putting on everything, just like eBay. I can
Yeah.
put on everything on Etsy as long as it's now what 2004 or older. I'm
Yeah.
like half the stuff I have out there in the garage, I bought it at a thrift store before 2004. It's like but
That's
yeah, it's just
funny.
and it's been a big helpful. My eBay sales are about the same. I'm trying.
Okay.
That's why I'm pushing that. But like we said, it's the whole summer slowdown thing. I'm still averaging about $250 in payouts a week,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't a lot. But like I said, Etsy's kicked up, and I'm
Yep.
getting a few $100s a month out of that right now, and
Good.
Poshmark a few $100 out of that right now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's helping.
Yeah.
So and then
Good.
because I'm doing the friend stuff, that gives me that pay come in
Oh, that's right.
once a month. So that
So you got to
helps.
suffer through the
Yeah.
the, the
So
heat
I,
of
I deal
shipping.
with it, but I'm trying to get myself on eBay to where my payouts are at least $1,000 a week.
That's right.
So I need
That's
I need to
doable.
go, you know, I need to go from 250 a week to 1,000, and yeah, and it's doable. So one of the things that like I started pushing myself to do more of is because I was kind of like, do I want to list all these clothes? Everybody fears clothes, even me. Even though I love the Hawaiian clothes and stuff I wear and stuff I've collected, I'm like, you know what? I broke it all out. Not all. I have like a tote in my. I have another room here that I keep my eBay stuff, some of my eBay stuff in, because I have a 3-car garage full of stuff.
Wow.
Oh,
And
my wife's
storage.
happy. She can't keep. It's pretty organized to a point. I have it
So
in
hold
two
up, hold up,
boxes.
hold up.
Yes.
You have a three-car garage
And
and
two
you have
yeah,
storage.
in my house.
And you have storage containers?
No, that's for the shipping.
Oh,
For the fishing has two storage
oh,
containers full, 40-foot storage.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But here I have a my third bedroom, and then I have a guest room. I kind of keep a few things in there, but not a whole lot, which my wife hates, so I've had to keep it clean. Then I have, like I said, I have a three car. One side's tandem, so the side that's tandem, I have the back end has 3 8-foot metal racks that I
Okay.
recently bought off of Facebook Marketplace. I've got how many? I can't even think. 4 or 5 of the rolling metal racks
Yeah.
full, and they're in the front part. And then I have, see what else up
You have
there.
a path. You have a path.
Yeah, I've had to reorganize it and stuff. I have 2 metal cabinets that I had emptied out, moved, put them full, that I got for free, and they're full of stuff. And then I have a 8 foot long. I brought it home from the warehouse, a oak cabinet. It's 2 sided that I was going to use for my shipping station, but I put wheels on it to move it around. Now it's too tall, so I got to modify it again to use it. But that thing is
Oh.
full of glassware on one side that I need
Mm.
to. I've got, because I'm also, I like craft beer. So
Oh.
10, 15 years ago, anytime I would buy bottles of beer from, liquor stores or wherever I could buy them, back then the bottles were painted or printed. Now they've gone to the cans where they just put a sticker label on it. Well, I still have all of my bottles out in the garage that I need to sell.
Oh my goodness.
Like
Wow.
300, 500 or whatever.
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
there's a lot of stuff out there. I've got pint glasses that I've collected from thrift stores or breweries that I'm like, I probably have a couple hundred of those that I have way too much stuff, and that's why I'm
Wow.
like, but yeah,
Wow.
so I had to start somewhere. But with the clothing, I had a pile of it in my room over here, and I'm like, the only way I'm going to get things reorganized is to grab this pile and start listing it.
That's right.
So I pulled out a good bunch of t-shirts, and I went
Okay.
through and I got those all done, and then I pulled out because a friend of mine's going to Hawaii. My friend of mine and my wife's. They're going to Hawaii in a couple of weeks, and she's like, I need some Hawaiian shirts for my husband. So I pulled
Step
out
right in.
I pulled out a bunch of shirts and said, if I have to pull these out, I got to get them listed. So that's what I did. I
Yeah.
pulled them out.
Okay.
I sat there, and while she's watching TV, my wife's watching TV. I'm out in the kitchen because it's one huge area, and I'm photographing, getting everything ready. And she's, there were times where I'd say, hey, I need you to write down the measurements, because that's the one thing about the Express Lister that Pat taught me to do, is write down the measurements and
On the board.
photograph it so that it pulls them in AI wise.
That's right.
So what I did is which I don't have it with me. I got a blank or a clear, like, paper sleeve, clear plastic, and I wrote on it in paper shoulder to shoulder, pit to pit, top to bottom, and then arm length. And then I put it inside of that, and then I do it with a dry eraser on the
Yeah.
outside. So all I got to
Yeah.
do is erase it off,
That's right.
and it works great. It,
Yep.
it pulls up everything.
So Express
So
Lister puts the measurements in for
yeah,
you.
puts it all. There's been times where I have to modify it because it'll put it in the bullet points as one thing, where I
Hmm.
drop it down, and then so everything, each one
Yeah, it's
has.
not perfect. Yeah.
But it's still. I'm like, I'm not having to write it, type it all in there. It's already, most of my wording's written out. I'm just
Love
writing the
it.
numbers on dry erasing it out. It's
Right.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
would you say that's your favorite part of Express Lister?
right now, yeah, because I'm not having to type so much. However, with my music media, I still do, because I have a certain format that I
Okay.
prefer my description to be.
Sure.
So I
Sure.
still use it specifically for keywords to pull all that in and fill out all the other information, and then I get it in there and do my description the way I want to do it.
So what voice do you use the most? Tone.
Sometimes I use the slightly funny, very funny,
Do you?
and the other one I've been doing is I use professional a lot, depending on what it is. But I play around with all of them. But mainly slightly funny or very funny, because it doesn't. For print ad, it doesn't really give a very funny thing, but
Yeah.
for some things it does. This
Yeah.
is pretty hilarious.
It's fun though, right?
Yeah.
It's made listing fun, I think.
Yes, exactly, and it faster and a lot more fun.
Yep. I
So
agree.
like
Huh?
I went through just from Friday, I think late Thursday to Sunday night, between all the print ads, magazines. It's just print ads that I'm still working on, cassettes, CDs, and all the Hawaiian shirts and regular t-shirts. I photographed well over 100, 150 items, and right now that's what I'm working on.
Nice.
So, and I'm already in my unlisted bank. I have almost 100 things in there right now. Because
Same.
the one thing that I do when I list to eBay is I schedule it out, and that's why I'm trying to mix in everything. So what I do is like I said, I'll do like, because you can only schedule out 21 days.
Yeah.
So what I do is I will get all of that stuff photographed, and then when I'm get it all done in List Perfectly, I go through, and whether it's CDs, I'll put 21 on. Magazines, 21 on. Hi, kitty. So I'll do them all 21 days out, and then because I have more than that ready to go, each day I fill in that next day.
Okay.
So that I still have my stuff 21 days out. And right now I'm at 5 or 6 different items a day because I'm trying to figure out the algorithm, and I don't want, how everybody says you list the same thing, that's all you're going to sell.
Right.
For some reason that happens. So that's why I'm scheduling everything throughout the day.
I get it.
So that different
items.
Different items are going up every day. Mm-hmm. And my goal is to get literally something up every hour.
Nice.
So as long as I can push myself to keep getting that, I figure if I get up at least one thing an hour, that's 24 items a day that I'm getting up.
That is amazing, Todd. I've never heard a system like that.
But I'm working on it to see if I can get it to do it.
It's impressive. So is your eBay store the Curator of Thrift?
Yes, it is. Let me see. My username is my old eBay name. It's speed-trap73. But you can find me, my eBay store is the Curator of Thrift.
The Curator of Thrift. Also, since we were talking about List Perfectly, I know that you have a coupon code that'll give 30% off the first month. So what would that coupon code be?
It is also the Curator of Thrift with the first letter of each word is a capital. So It is all crunched together as the Curator of Thrift, one word.
Okay. All one word, the Curator of Thrift. So that's Curator. Curator. So it reminds me of a museum. You have the curator.
That's kind of what we do, right? I remember somebody mentioning it one day, and I'm like, that's what we do, because everybody's talking about how they complain that we're buying this stuff and reselling it. It was like, not everybody has a chance to find it. We're the people that we're curating for these other people.
That's
my name to that.
I think it's brilliant. It's a really good name. So are you on Instagram as well?
Yes, I am on Instagram at the Curator of Thrift. I think is still is it one word? Can't remember.
Okay. Well, we could try both. But if you're listening on YouTube, then I have all the links down below. And if you're on audio, then you can just type it out, and easy to go to Instagram and look for the Curator of Thrift, and then look at his link tree. And his link tree will have all of the links to everything that you need, including the 30% off the first month, because you definitely want to try Listing Assistant.
Oh. Yeah, after you guys were talking about that one day on List Perfectly, I'm like, I need to add that in. That's at the top of the game right there in my link tree. I need to put that in there.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, do you have any final words?
I've had a lot of fun. I never get to do these, so it was one of those things. And even though I used to do the YouTube thing and, you're just talking to a camera.
I know.
It's not actually have a conversation and tell about how things are in the eBay world or e-commerce world, and let people, it's a struggle, but you got to make it fun, because I enjoy what I'm doing. I make, like most people, the shopping was the fun thing, but now I'm making the listing the fun part right now, because I can't go shopping because I got too much.
No, I mean, there's a fine line between hoarder, semi-hoardering, and when you get too much stuff and too many of those money piles,
right.
They can add up. But it sounds like you're on the right track. I like your system. You've got good goals, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you at the 24-hour room.
Absolutely.
Wow, it was so interesting listening to Todd that we're actually going to have a part 2 because after we quit recording, he shared so much more information that was so interesting. Be sure to check back for part 2 of Todd, the Curator of Thrift. Special thanks to List Perfectly for sponsoring our show. You can actually get a 30% off the first month of List Perfectly using Todd's code, the Curator of Thrift. So meanwhile, thank you again for joining. I'm Danna Crawford, the Power Selling Mom, and you're listening to the Power Selling Podcast. Until next time, happy online selling.